Hello, 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 hello. How are you all doing today? We got a lot of things to talk about, and we're gonna touch on that real soon. Ah, nothing much changed since the last time we talked. I finally saw Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, and I, that was a movie. That was oof, boy, I was not a fan of that movie. It, yeah, yeah, the MCU movies haven't been doing too well in terms of hitting me with good storytelling. I understand Ant-Man is a jokey film, but oh my god, the entire thing just feels like a joke. Like, there's like even scenes that are meant to be serious, they don't stay on them for too long for you to actually feel anything. And it just becomes this giant, like, emptiness, you know? It just feels like you can tell it's a bunch of executives that just have to rush out the script. It's like, oh, this is funny. This is gonna land a joke. And it falls flat. Incredibly. So yeah, was not a big fan of Ant-Man and the Wasp, but other than that, everything's been pretty okay. Pretty okay. Did some stuff, got things done. I was up very late supporting a friend of the channel, Yume Paradox. She was doing a 7-hour, no, was it 7-hour? No, it was 12-hour. She did a 12-hour Splatoon 3 stream to support some charity donations for the LGBT community, which is really awesome. I was able to stay for most of it, and even was able to catch her in the crack of dawn. I really need to fix my sleep cycle because that didn't feel like anything to me. But yeah, that is what it is. But yeah, definitely, if you like Splatoon content, go check out Yume Paradox. But yeah, other than that, everything's been pretty cool. So I don't want to stay on this screen for long. I want to talk about Sonic. And I've been wanting to talk about Sonic for a long time. The Archie comics are a beast in and of themselves. They started off as like, yeah, a little collaborative effort, a little fun experiment between Archie Comics, you know, the same guys who do Riverdale and Selena the Teenage Witch, that kind of thing. And then they also, you know, dabble in some other things. You've seen Riverdale, you've seen, you know, pretty much, they're a small comic company, you know, and they're not your DC or your Marvel, but they're recognizable. It started off with pretty slice of life comedic adventures, and then it got weird when a certain writer who shall not be named took liberties with the writing style, and it led Sonic down in quite the interesting path for over, let's say, 20 years? Close to 20 years? Until Ian Flynn came and just kind of did his own thing, and the comics got into a great position. They fixed themselves. The comics were on the right path, and Ian Flynn gained a lot of notability for that. He is also the writer of Sonic Frontiers. So you can tell this definitely helped boost his writing career in terms of Sonic, so that's awesome. But unfortunately, the comics ended. And it ended very unceremoniously after like 3 reboots, which isn't that uncommon with Sonic. Well, not Sonic, but in comic books in general, it's very standard to have reboots constantly. Not for the reasons that Sonic had, but I don't know if we'll get into that one. Fun times over there. But yeah, unfortunately, the Sonic comics ended on a cliffhanger. So I remember I was an avid reader of the Sonic Archie comics. I had been reading them for, I'd say, close to 10 years. So I started during the Ian Flynn era. Thank God. Because holy shit. But yes, I started off in that era, and I read them on and off again for years. I collected maybe over 100 to 200 issues. I think I was either 100 or close to 100. I don't know if I ever made it to 200 though. But I had stopped reading them because I just couldn't keep up with them anymore, because the thing about comic books that aren't very similar to manga is comic books never end. Manga have a set ending. Unless you count spin-offs, we don't do that. So that was the reason I dropped off, and then I realized that it ended on a cliffhanger. So that's like 20 years of storytelling, all for an unsatisfying conclusion, which was gut-wrenching to hear about that. Like, I thought they would at least end it on a high note. No. However, there was good news for Sonic fans though, because Ian Flynn teamed up with Dark Horse Comics, because they have something where it's a work for hire kind of contract deal. They're contract workers essentially. So Ian Flynn was not bound to work with Archie. He can do whatever he wants. So he's on the new Sonic comics that are created by IDW, the same guys who create the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles comic books, the Transformers comic books. They basically handle a lot of independent projects and make comics from them themselves, so perfect place for Sonic. And he has been currently writing for that. And from what I can tell, I've read only the Metal Virus arc. It's been really, 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 really well received and has done really great things. So I highly think that if you're interested in Sonic comics and you want to read them in ongoing story format, please check out IDW. They have been nothing but good people. Please check them out. But we're not talking about IDW today. No. We're talking about the dark side. We're talking about the dark history of Sonic the Hedgehog in Archie comic form. Yes. So then, I've rambled long enough. I've talked long enough. Let us dive into the weird world of the Archie Sonic Comics. Give me a second. As I get everything sorted out, we don't need vibing music. We need this Sonic music. Yes. I have lights, camera, action. I have no idea how long this stream is gonna be. Absolutely no idea how long we'll be live for. I just don't. I just don't. But this is the complete Sonic comic encyclopedia. Yes, here it is, the complete Sonic comic encyclopedia. Now, you cannot physically own this book, okay? Because, like I said before, Archie Comics lost the rights to Sonic. So they cannot make any material, they cannot print any material, they cannot benefit off of the Sonic the Hedgehog independent property. So there is no way for you to physically own this book nowadays. I own the book, because of course I own the book. Because I was a Sonic fan, I told you about that. Now, if you don't believe me, you hear that? That is me touching the book right now. I physically own this. But I am using a online web version to show you what wonders the Archie Comics had to offer. If you want to buy this book physically, like I said before, you can't. Unless you're willing to go on eBay or maybe Amazon and spend a good couple $100. I checked online before I started the stream. They sell them on Amazon for $145. Yeah. So no. And they also sell them on eBay used for $88. So, like I said before, it's a piece of history. You can't get this if you wanted to. But anyway, let's talk about this. This is the complete Sonic comic encyclopedia, and you're probably wondering who all these characters are. Wait, Sonic only has like 4 friends, right? Why are there so many different characters here? We'll get into that. Why is there Green Sonic? We'll get into that. Why is there a giant robot metal Sonic that's red. We'll get into that. What is this thing next to Shadow? We'll get into that. Let's start. So, the Sonic Comic Complete Encyclopedia. The story compilation and script is by Ian Flynn, which, funny enough, like I said before, I do own this book. I actually have it. If I can find out where. Where is it? Where's the signature? I have it here. Well, whatever the case, I actually have it signed by Ian Flynn. I have it signed by Ian Flynn and a couple of the writing staff on these Sonic comics. So, which is cool. It's a kind of a collector's piece. Again, if I could find it, I don't know where it is, but, you know, the signature's probably there somewhere. But yes. There's a lot of talented people who worked on this. Not to discredit them at all, but we're just going to talk about the weird parts of Sonic and just go over all of this, alright? So, table of context. Choose your chapter. There's Sonic the Freedom Fighters, the heroes of Mobius Prime. Knuckles and the Chaotix, protectors of Angel Island, royalty and government, friends and family, Knuckles' legacy, gods of Mobius. Shadow and Gun, freedom fighters of the world. We're gonna get into that. What is this? What are all these characters besides Eggman? Why is Mephiles the Dark here? Who is this color inverted Knuckles the Hedgehog, Knuckles the Echidna? Why is there a bird robot like pirate? We'll get into that. Choose your chapter again. We have the Eggman Empire, the wicked Echidnas, villains of Planet Mobius, other worlds. We got some Kingdom Hearts shit in here. There are other worlds. Magical talismans, because that is its own thing. 7 emeralds plus 50 rings. Jump up and press A. A reference to Supersonic in the original Sonic Genesis games. Mobian technology. The world of Mobius Prime. The Mobius timeline. Oh, let me get you started. Don't get me started on the Mobius timeline. Holy shit, that's fun. Yeah, there's time travel in this. And we see multiple instances of possible futures in the Sonic comic. We'll get into that. The future? Question mark? Well, not much anymore, but still. Dreams and nightmares. A future absolution. As you can tell right here, there is 191 pages of this. Are we going to read all of this? Probably not. We're going to get as far as we can. Maybe we'll come back to this if it's a good turnout. Maybe we won't. It really all depends on how we feel. But anyway, the first chapter. Freedom Fighters. The classic Freedom Fighters. Now let's see if I can remember these guys. Oh god. This brings back so many war flashbacks. Okay, so we got Tails Miles Prower. We have Antoine Decollette. We have Bunny Rabbit. We have Sally Acorn. We have Sonic the Hedgehog, of course. And then we have, I forgot his name. He's a walrus, of course. I think his name is Walter Walrus. These are the original Freedom Fighters. And if you don't know, actually, these characters are not exclusive to the comic books. They're the original Freedom Fighters classic for a reason. It is actually because way back in like the early 90s, or maybe it was the late 80s, Sonic the Hedgehog had a long-running TV show. And that TV show was called, they had two. There was Saturday morning Sonic the Hedgehog, Sat-Am, which was the more serious, gritty, very just darker, serialized version of Sonic the Hedgehog. You know, much to like what you would see now in like, let's say, the Owl House or Amphibia. It was pretty much child-friendly, but also dealt with serious crimes, and it dealt with like melodrama. It dealt with Eggmen who actually won and took over the planet. Everything was roboticized. World was fucked. What's roboticization? We'll get into that. So these are original characters from the cartoon show. I do not know if Sega actually owns the rights to these characters or who owns them, honestly. I'm guessing since they're in the Sonic comics, Sega technically owns them, I'm guessing. I have never seen them mentioned outside of the comic books or the cartoon show. Maybe they'd make an appearance, but seeing how Sonic has their own pre-established group of friends and pre-established characters in canon, I don't see these characters coming back. But let's read on. So basically, the Freedom Fighters. Their first appearance was in the Sonic the Hedgehog miniseries, issue 0. The Freedom Fighters started as a band of young and talented children hidden in the secret village of Knothole, which was actually Sally Acorn. This character is right here. This is her kingdom. She's a princess. She's the old-fashioned kick-butt princess with attitude. Alright, they were inspired by the original Freedom Fighters and carried on in their stead. Their early adventures were like grand games, despite being perilous at times. So we got Sonic the Hedgehog, a brash show-off who was more interested in having fun than being a fighter, but who quickly learned the importance of his friends and their mission. Sally Acorn, I cannot forget honorifics. The Crown Princess, and heir apparent to the Kingdom of Acorn. She was the leader from the start and the driving force behind the team. Antoine Decollette, this character right here, the Frenchman. He's a Frenchman. He's a Frenchman. So of course he's a coward. Stereotypical back in the day. With his family claimed by Dr. Robotnik's Decollette, the jittery boy soldier had something to prove to himself, to his friends, and to his first crush, the princess. His name was Rotor. There it is, Rotor. His name was Rotor Walrus. Rotor Boomer Walrus. Okay, Boomer. Alright, cool. Alright, so he was a budding inventor whose gadgets helped the child warriors survive and escape many of their early perils. Okay, so the Freedom Fighters remained the standard to which all other groups looked for over 10 years. They fought to protect Knothole, later New Mobotropolis, and the world at large from the Eggman Empire and other threats. Ayo, popping in to say hi before the fest results. Oh, hey, Yume. I was just talking about you and how you were a beast last night. 12 hours straight of Splatoon for Team Women, otherwise known as Team Wisdom. Hey, I'm so happy I was there to support you. Hopefully the results... I mean, I'm Team Courage, so I want the results to be in my favor, but I hope that you are at least close second, alright? I think that works out. You can be close second as long as I'm first. Alright, that's fine. You know it. Thanks so much. Hey, gotta support the homies. That's how it works. But yeah, you hopefully the results are in your favor. We're just reading the crazy world of Sonic the Hedgehog, so yeah, it is what it is. But back to this overwhelming storm of hell. Later, New Mobotropolis and the world at large from the Eggman Empire and other threats. The team was finally broken by a series of tragedies, we'll get into that, but gave rise for the Freedom Fighters and Team Fighters. I don't remember who Team Fighters was. Oh, lore is always nice. Yes, we're talking about Archie Sonic comic lore. Oh boy, this is... We're not even at the weird crap yet. We're not even into multiverse stuff. This is just getting you familiarized with the world. So we got Sonic the Hedgehog, we got Tails Miles per Hour, we got Amy Rose. Like Tails, Amy has worked hard to prove her worth to the team of all the members. She is the most recent official member. Sally Acorn, Bunny Rabbit Decollette. Why is she called Decollette? Because she married the Frenchman. That happened. That's going to be a long time from now, though. But she's half roboticized by Dr. Robotnik, which is canonical to the cartoon show, which it's based off of, and rescued by Sonic. She uses her incredible bionic abilities to provide the team with a heavy hitter. So she was basically their strongman because she was technically half robot. If you're wondering, there is a future where she has kids with Antoine Decollete, and I believe they are half robots as well. So, I don't know how much of a robot she is in certain parts. And I don't think I want to know. Which part is robot and which part is bunny? I'll leave that to Antoine to figure out. Oh, Jesus. Okay. Nicole. This character right here. Oh, Nicole. Probably one of my favorites. Nicole. Once a mentor only to Sally. Nicole's growth in her abilities and range have earned her an honorary spot on the team. Funny enough, Nicole is essentially a very powerful Siri. Alright? I'm not joking. She started off as Sally's little AI companion. She was basically her Alexa, her Siri, whatever you have it. And she's just a very self-creating AI, and over the course of maybe 100 chapters, she was able to constantly build up her mental state to the point where she was able to create her own body, which is why she looks like this. It's because she actually created her own physical form after constantly improving as an AI. And it fucks a lot of the time. It fucks up a lot of times. There was definitely they went into that. They delved into that. They delved into that. Anyway, Sonic the Hedgehog was born during the Great War. First appearance, Sonic the Hedgehog issue 0. As I said before, this stream is 18 plus, yada yada yada. I do swear a lot. It's part of my vocabulary. Minors get out. That's all I'm gonna say. But anyway, what was I reading? Okay. Abilities: super speed, able to achieve upward of Mach 1 on his own. The figure 8 peel out. Sonic's legs spin in an 8, and he rockets at super speed. His feet move so fast he can hover in the air briefly. The iconic spin dash. Sonic hones in on his target while curled into a consecutive ball or cutting disc. And of course, Supersonic, with 7 Chaos Emeralds for equivalent power. It doesn't have to be the 7 Chaos Emeralds. It's happened many times for different reasons in the comics. Sonic turns gold, invulnerable, and all his nature skills increase exponentially. Okay. Yes. Sonic was born during the Great War and was originally named after his grandfathers. He later had his name legally changed to Sonic with no offense meant to his forebearers. Yes, Sonic is not his legally given name. It was a nickname he gave himself that he then later legally changed. While very young, he lost his parents to the first clandestine roboticization experiments. Pretty much that was when Eggman pretty much just said, nah, I'm gonna betray every one of you animals and I'm just gonna roboticize everyone and create the Eggman Empire. This is during a part of the Sonic history where Eggman actually won. He was taken in by his uncle, Sir Charles Hedgehog. He was knighted. And after Dr. Robotnik's takeover, briefly played delivery boy for his uncle's chili dog stand when spending time in Knothole. He was a glorified delivery boy. What about his natural speed? How did he get it? He was born with it. Yeah, he was born with natural speed. Tragedy struck when Uncle Chuck was captured by Dr. Robotnik's forces and roboticized himself. From here, Sonic shot. No, we're not at Shadow yet. From there, Sonic threw his full support behind the Freedom Fighters and fought to liberate the kingdom. Sonic playfully took on Dr. Robotnik's first few generations of badniks, growing in skill until his mid-teens. He was a true threat to Dr. Robotnik's forces. Sonic has always been at odds with his nature, arrogant on one hand, but unwavering in his heroism on the other. These traits were that both endeared and frustrated his first love, Sally Acorn. Oh boy, Sally Acorn. Yep, that was the thing. Sonic has become a beacon of hope for the world. He's traveled the globe and even traversed outer space, alternate dimensions, and time itself. I'm not joking. He has been named the chosen hero of the multiverse, having over the course of his adventures faced down mad scientists, evil wizards, and even gods with a smirk and a laugh. While having lost his knighthood due to a past mistake, I don't remember what that mistake was. We'll probably get into it. Sonic, you're gonna hear me say that a lot, we'll get into it. Sonic recently holds the rank of Gentleman at Arms with the Republic of Acorn. He declined having his knighthood reinstated. Sonic continues to take life with a breezy attitude, having fun, whether taking on the forces of evil or kicking back with his guitar. So we got Tails miles per hour next, alright? Alright, so abilities, of course, spinning his tails, can fly or otherwise propel himself fast enough to keep pace with Sonic. Tails is remarkably brilliant with machinery and has a strong intuition about magic. Yeah, he was... Okay. We're gonna have to get into this. Because magic, yeah, okay. Magic is a thing in this universe. And also, this is gonna... Okay. I actually have to say this. Tails' uncle is Merlin. I'm not joking. His uncle is Merlin. And I'm not just saying, he just has the name Merlin. No, he's legitimately Merlin. He's Merlin, but as a fox. And he has the control over magic. He knows spells and all of this different stuff. And he taught Tails how to use magic. Yeah. His uncle is the greatest wizard of all time. Why is this a thing? Why are you questioning it? It's Sonic. It's whatever, it's canon. Anyway, moving on. Where was I? Born to Amadeus and Rosemary Prower, the day of the Robotnik's takeover, he was spirited away to Knothole, where he was looked over by Rosie Woodchuck. Startlingly intuitive at his very young age, Miles latched onto the charismatic Sonic the Hedgehog and dreamed of becoming a freedom fighter. Here we're learning about his Tails. He was called Tails because of a mutation, obviously his two tails. While these appendages could propel him nearly as fast as Sonic, Tails found himself left behind by his would-be comrades. In an attempt to quickly rise into their ranks, he ate the fruit from the Tree of Wisdom. He gained a brief period of genius, and while most of it faded within a day, it did seem to bolster his already considerable intuition. Yeah. He ate the fruit. He ate the forbidden fruit from the Tree of Wisdom, which made him a genius, but it seemed like it just boosted his already considerable intelligence for a day. Why is this important? I don't know. Tails eventually learned his position among the freedom fighters as both a warrior like Sonic, but also as an inventor like Rotor. Tails has many creations to his name, namely the Tornado, and later revisions of the Sea Fox, and his filled Rotor's role since the latter retirement from the team. Yeah, Rotor got fucked. Rotor got the worst case of my back, of lower back pain, because he was in a bomb. He was in a bombing accident, and because of that he got crippled. I'm not joking. Tails' long entrusted uncle, Merlin Prower, also guided him from behind the scenes to discover much of his mystical potential. Tails has been enigmatically entitled The Chosen One. I forgot he was the Chosen One. Tails has been enigmatically entitled The Chosen One, the one prophesied to bring about the Great Harmony. Tails believed he had achieved this a couple of times over, but his true destiny has proven elusive. So yeah, you didn't know that? You didn't know Tails was the Chosen One and was destined to bring great harmony to the world? Tails. The little genius that makes tornadoes and runs around with sun. Yeah, he's the Chosen One and will bring the great harmony. Tails has grown from Sonic's starry-eyed sidekick to his trusted companion, full of heroic spirit and an ever-growing confidence. Tails is just beginning to follow his own adventure's path. And then there's Tails' little puppy. He made a friend. Tails' robot T-Pup takes flight. Now, Tails and Sonic have actually gotten into a lot of fights in the comics. There was a moment where they fought over a girl. We'll get into that when we get to her. 'Cause boy, that story was my first arc in the comics, and oh boy, did that not make any sense to me when I was a little, whatever I am. I'm not gonna tell you what I actually physically am, but yes, I didn't know what the hell was going on, but it was weird. Oh boy, we're in the meat and potatoes now. Princess Sally Acorn. Oh boy, oh, we got a lot to unpack with this one. Oh, we got a lot to unpack with this interesting character, interesting design, which they later on changed. Fun fact, Sally was naked for a lot of the comic, and she was the only female character who had this outfit and technically did not wear clothes. She did not get a new outfit that actually covered her up until like the late 200 chapters of Sonic the Hedgehog. So yeah, a good 15 years maybe of her just walking around with it all hanging out. Hey man, you do you, girl, you do you. Princess Sally. First appearance in Sonic the Hedgehog issue 0. Abilities: agility, able to perform gymnastic moves beyond average. Versatility, trained in combat, survival, diplomacy, computer skills, tactical skills, an accompanied and resourceful field leader. Alright. Sally Acorn was born during the Great War. Again, I'm gonna say this right now. We're not gonna read like every single page, but there's a lot to unpack here. And there's so much I have to talk about. I'm gonna skim over as much as I can, but there's a lot to go over. Okay, so Sally Acorn was born during the Great War. She was raised as an only child, quote unquote, to the widowmaker, the widower, King Maximilian Acorn, and wouldn't know the fate of her mother and older brother until years later. Hey, new adventures playing. Sally was also raised and tutored by her royal mentor, Julia Chipmunk, and royal nursemaid, Rosie Woodchuck. So, right here. Dr. Eggman Robotnik's takeover. The young Sally decided originally to rescue... I didn't know whether this was the vocal version or not of New Adventure. It's not. The young Sally decided to dedicate herself to the rescue of her father and her kingdom, inspired by the original freedom fighters. Sally rallied her own band of friends and led them in raids against Robotropolis. This was before Eggman Land became a thing, alright? Despite her youth, Sally showed an uncanny ability to lead, strategize, and hold her ragtag team of would-be heroes together late in the First Robotnik War. Sally discovered a mysterious handheld device. The AI identified itself as Nicole. So I don't believe she built Nicole. I believe she found Nicole. I think maybe Nicole was like maybe an offshoot of Eggman's technology. Not too sure. The AI running it identified itself as Nicole and would become Sally's mentor and friend after the passing of Julia. As Sally led the freedom fighters to worry in the battle against Dr. Robotnik, she regenerated her family, but faced a great deal of personal hardship. Her life of a guerrilla warfare conflicted with the formalities of royalty. Torn between the life she had and the one she thought she wanted, Sally's spirit was strained. The final blow came when her first love, Sonic the Hedgehog, appeared to give his life for Mobius and then returned from the dead. At her most confused, she broke up with Sonic to prevent further heartbreak for herself. So yes, that was actually a thing where nearing the end of the run, because they didn't think they were going to get renewed for more comics and thought, just end it. Sonic and Eggman were technically going to die. Sonic came back, Eggman was supposed to be dead, and that would have been the end of the comic. But they kept it going, and ever since then, they adapted the design and the new direction of Sega, starting with Sonic Adventure. So you can count everything up till this point as the Genesis era. And then later on in the Sonic comics, we move on into the Adventure era. So yeah. And how do they handle a lot of the things in the Genesis era to the Adventure era? Because a lot of things don't really make sense and they just kind of happen for no explanation. We'll get into that. Anyway. Eventually, she recovered to her old self, chose her role as the team's field leader, and repaired her damaged friendship just as life returned to normal. Sally barely skirted death after the effects of the Genesis wave, which was kind of a reboot to the comics, but also a way for them to was Eggman's way of wiping out all organic life on the planet. It was more or less a reason for them to get rid of all of a certain writer's characters because of a certain thing that happened. I don't know if we'll get into that. Alright, she used her second chance at life to sabotage the Death Egg 2's world roboticizer. See what I mean? Her sacrifice saved Mobius and turned her into one of Dr. Eggman's robot minions. Okay, so real shit. Hold on a second. Alright. Real shit, that was raw. When I was a kid and I read that shit, that was fucking raw. Like, when Sally sacrificed herself to essentially become a mindless robot, the perfect killing machine for Dr. Eggman, that shit was wild. It was an entire, like, anime fucking plot, man. Real shit. I remember reading the comics and being like, oh my god, like, she is an actual threat. She tries to kill the freedom fighters multiple times. She goes toe-to-toe with Sonic. She's stronger than Metal Sonic. And she is just going ham on them, man. She's trying to kill them every single chance they get. And oh my god, she was Eggman's most dangerous weapon. Here is what she looked like. Mecha Sally after the destruction of the world roboticizer. This girl was a deadly weapon. She was dangerous. It was so good. It was so good. She was honestly the best villain they had. If you think there was anything that could top Metal Sonic, Mecha Sally was what they had. My girl was ridiculous. Speaking of ridiculous, Amy Rose. So remember how I talked about how there was no way of really explaining the jump between the Genesis designs and the Dreamcast / Adventure designs? because characters just kind of change for no reason. We're getting into that right now with Amy Rose. Her first appearance was actually in Sonic the Hedgehog issue 25. Her abilities are the Pico Pico Hammer, a massive mallet that appears from nowhere and causes incredible damage with seemingly little effort. Alright, so, Amy Rose. Amy Rose was born to nobles. Yeah, did you know that? Did you know that? Did you know that Amy Rose is actually a descendant of royalty? Yeah. And her cousin's name is Sir Robbo the Hedge, who is supposed to be inspired off of Robin Hood. Amy Rose is royalty. I shit you not. The comics are fun. Amy Rose was born to nobles in Mauricia, before the influence of Dr. Robotnik had reached across the ocean. As her kingdom fell around her, stories of heroic Blue Hedgehog reached her homeland. Amy was immediately enamored by the tales of this legendary Sonic the Hedgehog, and began sending letters to him despite the ever-present danger. This is where her obsession over Sonic began, if you're wondering. With her parents missing and Mauritius' capital being turned into Snottingham by Dr. Robotnik. I don't remember Snottingham. Oh my god. Alright, okay. Snottingham by Dr. Robotnik. Amy's cousin, there it is, Robbo the Hedge, sent her to the presumed safety of Sonic's company. Her escort was captured along the way, and Amy was made bait in a trap to destroy Sonic in the Collision Chaos Zone. I don't even remember what that is. The Collision Chaos Zone. Okay. Once rescued, Amy was welcomed into Knothole with open arms, but a fiery spirit wasn't enough to get her into the Freedom Fighters, nor was it enough to gain Sonic's romantic interest. So, here's where it gets weird. In a desperate bid to get some recognition, Amy used the Ring of Acorns, a magic ring forged from the energies of a super chaos emerald, and of incredible potency. Amy believes she used the ring's final wish to make herself older. In fact, she absorbed its power and now unwittingly enjoys some limited wish-granting abilities, namely the creation of her Pico Pico hammer from thin air. So yeah, Amy stole the most powerful, one of the most powerful relics in the world as a what? How old is she? How old was she? I believe she was like 6 or something. She's either 6 or like maybe 8 in Sonic CD, I think. Anyway, so she used the most powerful relic in the entire world, one of them, to make herself at least 6 years older, to the point where she was, I think, 12 or maybe 13, and was physically able to join the Freedom Fighters because she's a kid. And when you're a kid and the older kids don't let you have fun, what do? You steal the most powerful relic in your world to make yourself 6 years older. But you're still, you're still mentally 6 years old. So yeah, it grew her body physically, but her mind still stayed intact. And it also gave her wish-granting abilities. Mild, though. So, where does the Pico Pico hammer come from? She wishes it into existence. She unknowingly wills it into existence. Is she able to control other things? Is she able to wish other things? I don't know. Neither does she. But she summons the hammer, and she has it. It's because of that. It's... yeah. There's also a very interesting thing with Amy Rose, or rather a concept of Amy Rose, that they touched on in the comics, which I personally really enjoyed. What do we say, chat? We'll get into it. Amy has since served on a number of missions and earned her position within the Freedom Fighters. Quick and powerful, she is a force to be reckoned with on the battlefield. While normally sweet and friendly, an explosive fiery temper simmers just below the surface. Now, Amy aims to catch Sonic's eye by being the finest freedom fighter the world has ever seen. Okay, I'm gonna take a swig of water. Hold on. Oh boy, oh boy. Road of the Walrus. We're not even in the beginning. Oh boy, no. What page is this? 10? Yeah. So, okay, what do we know mostly about Rotor the Walrus? Abilities: above average strength, a vibrant inventor who created vehicles and weaponry. I'm just gonna skim over some of this stuff. So he was parent, Sherman, opportunity, traditional Herald lifestyle, Great War, yada yada yada, robotics takeover. Sherman fell in the initial resistance, Rotor's mother, pregnant with his brother Skeeter, were lost in the chaos of escaping refugees. Rotor was among many other children separated from the parents. He soon fell into a group called Freedom Fighters. Yes, we all know this. Rotor lent let's see. What do we got? Rotor, yeah. But for every success, he had some kind of failure, often with explosive results. This and his intense interest in heavy weapons earned him the nickname Boomer. So yes, that is why he is called Boomer, because he loves technology and most of his experiments blew up in his face. Rotor was a tenacious member of the team and one of the Sonic's best friends. He was eager to join the firefights, which seemed odd compared to his otherwise gentle nature. He's actually a pretty strong guy in the team. His analytical thinking gained him a seat on top of the Knothole Council. During the First War, he was part of the Resistization Committee. During the year Sonic spent in space. Oh yes, Sonic spent a year in space. Don't worry about it. Rotor's dispositions shifted. His zeal for new weaponry put many of his friends in harm's way. Ashamed, Rotor fell onto the Kingdom's convention of shunning firearms, even at the point of contradicting himself on his past actions. So yeah, Rotor was pro guns until they started to affect him personally. He also took a less active role in field operations. During the destruction of Knothole, Rotor escaped Tails from a collapsing ceiling, but injured his back. In the process, he gained most of his mobility, but opted to retire to a position on the Council of Acorn. When the Ixis Naugus. Why is the first thing I see Knothole? What are you furries? I'm not a furry! I'm not a furry. Welcome in, Henry. Knothole is the place they live. We're talking about the Sonic Comics. Archie specifically. How you doing? How you been? We're talking about how a walrus tried to save a fox and gained eternal back pain. He's technically a cripple, but not really. He's technically not crippled, disabled. Sorry, he's technically disabled. A Knothole is a furry. I don't want to talk. I'm not finishing that. I'm not finishing what you said. I'm doing okay. Love to hear it. But yes, we're gonna talk about Ixis Naugus later, cause this is something I need to unpack. I've talked about this before. Not on stream, but in groups. About what Ixis Nagus is. The council voted to exile Nicole. Rotor resigned out of the protest, donned his nanite. Okay. So yeah, he gained back pain. My man called Boomer, he gained eternal back pain. He was smart enough to create this nanite battlesuit, which he uses in combat, which is able to help him actually fight and not be pretty much, I don't think he was in a wheelchair, but he definitely had a cane. So yeah, he used this to actually fight. It's a nanite suit. Antonio Decalet, the Frenchman. He's a Frenchman. Alright, his abilities, excels with the use of his saber. Training, Antoine has limited but formal military training from his father, Pilot, a seasoned airlines and balloon pilot. Alright. So, let's see. He was born during the Great War. We already know that. We already talked about this. Served King Acorn, somewhat to Marie's discontent. Armed, while armed, tried to raise his son to the local language. Yeah, because he's French. So he only spoke French until he was later on taught English. Taught their native tongue. Amid the chaos of the Great War, poor Antoine would be doomed to flub both languages. Yeah, so if you're ever trying to teach your kids 2 languages at the same time, maybe try a bit better. To the point where they actually can speak the language and not fail at both. Antoine was shaken by a stream of tragedy. His father led the first resistance against Robotnik's takeover and was lost. Yeah, his dad fucking died. His dad dead. His mother fell terminally ill shortly after, leaving Antoine orphaned in Knothole. I do not know why they keep highlighting Knothole, but it's okay now that Henry has put that into my mind. Yeah, so his dad died in the war, his mom died of illness. This man had no luck. This man, he was orphaned, his dad died, he can't speak English, he's French. My man he rolled a nat 1 in life. Poor thing. For legal reasons, that's a joke. I have nothing against the French. Antoine tried to hide his inner doubt and jumpiness with swaggering bravado, earning him endless heckling from Sonic the Hedgehog. Yeah, these two hate each other. Or at least had a rivalry. His romantic advances towards the princess were snubbed, which worsened his self-esteem. A break came in from the form of Bunny Rabbit, who managed to see the scared but iconic but heroic boy beneath the facade. She eventually helped Antoine ease into his true love, into his true self. So yeah, she saw him for who he really was, which is really cute. Their relationship is genuinely healthy later on in the comic. What the hell? Where is he? What are you doing raiding my channel? Thank you so much for the raid of 6. Hello everyone. My name is King Kodiak. I'm a voice actor and VTuber who is currently stuck in Anya's body. We are reading the entire Sonic comic encyclopedia from Archie and talking about the weird shit Sonic has done in his life. How are you doing? What were you streaming? Let me give you a shout out. Let me see if I can get this thing to work. Yeah, hold on. Can it work? What the hell? Oh, check out. Yeah, oh, they were just doing just chatting. Okay, cool. Cool. What were you doing? What were you talking about? How y'all doing? Ned Forgian, welcome in. But, yes. We did a karaoke stream. Oh, okay. Neato. That sounds fun. Hopefully you had a good time. You singing those weeb songs, or you... I don't know. I hope you had a good time. I hope you had a good stream. But, yeah. If you're here from Wizards Raid, welcome in. If you can't stay long, I appreciate you just staying and saying hello. Hope you all have a good day, have a good stream. Hope you all have a good rest of your day, if anything. I wish. Oh, I see. Well, I'm going to eat something, have a fun stream. Well, thank you for coming in and sharing your community with mine. And welcome in JoJo as well. Nice to see you all. But, back to reading this. Okay. Reading, yes. We are reading. We are reading the entire Sonic Comic Encyclopedia. We're not reading the entire thing, but we're skipping over certain parts. The parts that hang out. Ignore this. The Read Comics Online free thing. God, I haven't read it. You legally cannot read this anymore. You legally cannot get this anymore. I've said this before, but because Archie lost the rights to Sonic the Hedgehog and gave the rights to IDW, you cannot read any of these Sonic comics anymore. So this is technically lost media. Technically. Anyway. No, you're good. You are absolutely fine. I'm just explaining the situation. But yeah, so Hardship would not leave Antoine alone. So this is the Antoine de Colette. Armid was found alive as the Robian leader of Dr. Robotnik's forces in Mercia and eventually de-roboticized. Sadly, the love, recognition, and family Antoine had always hoped for were nearly swept away by his evil twin, Patch, from Mobius. Isn't Archie the reason why Sonic has relationship rules now? Yes! Correct! You know what you're talking about. Are all the bullshit, all the reason why Sega has an iron grip around Sonic and his IP is because of Archie. Everything is because of this right here. Relationships? I'm not into the Sonic verse. Oh, we have such sights to show you. We have such sights to show you. Damn you, Archie! I want my son, Amy. Damn it! Hey, they tease it in the new comic run in IDW, but the Archie comics, no. Sonic gets paired up with Sally Acorn, this half-naked squirrel. Or chipmunk. I could never figure out which one she was. I think she's a chipmunk. But yes. So we gotta talk about this. Okay, Antoine had also hoped for. Okay, Antoine had always hoped for, nearly swept away by his evil twin, Patch, from not Mobius, the planet they're from, Mobius, with an M-O-E. Okay? The planet they live on, if I can find it, the planet they live on is called Mobius. M-O-B-I-U-S. The anti-world full of their evil twins is called Mobius. M-O-E-B-I-U-S. What a great name. But yes, he has an evil twin named Patch. Why is his name Patch? Because he has an eye patch over one of his eyes. I'm not making this up. His name is Patch legit because he has one eye patch. Evil twin Patch from Mobius, who imprisoned him for months thanks to Sonic. Oh, by the way, Patch can see. Both of Patch's eyes work. He just has an eye patch on for the sake of it. Yeah. Thanks to Sonic, Antoine was returned in time to save his relationship with Bunny, who was forced to watch his father succumb to a fatal poisoning. Antoine later proposed to Bunny. The two were wed in Knothole City. Again, Knothole City. Just days before it was razed by Yeah, just before Dr. Eggman came and said, fuck it, I'm gonna destroy your entire city. They got married a day before. The entire shit got nuked. Wonderful. Alright. Sometime later, Ixis Naugus. We're gonna get to him. Ixis Naugus. Sometime later, Ixis Naugus' magic returned Bunny to normal, opening a chance for them to start a family. However, during one of Dr. Eggman's attacks, Antoine made the ultimate sacrifice to save Elise Acorn, which is essentially Sally Acorn's mother, the Queen. About Sonicverse, I only know the basics. You are spared, my child. You have been spared. The weird, batshit insane crap that is the Sonic expanded lore. But it's good to learn about this. I'm glad you're learning. So, as I've stated before, Antoine Decollette, Sally Acorn, Rotor Walrus, Bunny Decollette, or Bunny Rabbit, are all characters not exclusive to the comics, but actually the very first Sonic cartoon show they ever had. Sega just said, you know what, here, take these characters, do whatever you want with them, and they put them in the comics and expanded on them, for better or worse. So yes, he's not a comic exclusive character. He's from the actual. He's from the show. Anyway, Ixis Naugus returned to normal. So Antoine sacrificed himself. I don't think I read this comic, but I definitely know he sacrificed himself and he was put into a coma. Yeah, Antoine now lies in a coma. I think I did read this part. Yeah. So he saved the Queen of the Kingdom and he put himself into a coma. Rebozo. Now we get into Bunny Rabbit, his wife. Okay? Okay. So. Bunny Rabbit. Bunny Rabbit, pronounced Bunny Rabbo. Alright. Her first appearance was in issue number 3. Her abilities are cybernetics. These feature many useful tools such as telescoping limbs, set feet for flying, a transforming arm cannon, an energy shield generator. She is also a trained martial artist in judo. Because of course she is. Okay, so she was born in the Southern Baronies, or Barons, just before the Great War, alright? Her parents died during the conflict. Bunny was raised by her uncle Beauregard and Aunt Lulami. I think I remember reading this. Happily for many years. However, things soured when her uncle claimed her parents had died in service of the Overlord due to long-standing tension between the Southern Baronies and the Kingdom of Acorn. Yeah, her uncle actually comes back in the comic as a Dr. Eggman supporter and tries to kill Bunny. And I think they make up. I'm not too sure. It's been a long time. So Bunny rejected the notion that her parents were traitors and ran away from home. Clubbing together a small farm on the edge of the kingdom's borders, she was soon found and captured by a pair of SWAT bots, which were basically like Eggman's enforcers, and put into a portable roboticizer. Sonic the Hedgehog and Rotor Walrus came in to rescue a moment too late. Bunny was half roboticized. Instead of dwelling on this, Bunny took to her new body well, and even going as far as to introduce herself with a pun off her family name, pronouncing it as Rabot. So her name is actually Bunny Rabot. She later on called herself Bunny Rabbit. So this is what she looks like. This is her robotics, and this is when Ixis Naugus, who we'll be getting into, gave her her body back. So let's see. Bunny bonded with Sally Acorn, the princess, and quickly became one of the freedom fighters. She provided friendship to Sally, ran hard-hitting missions with Sonic, and managed to find the hidden hero within Antoine Decollette. While she put on a brave face, she did not hold out hope that she would one day be returned to normal. But then her body began rejecting her roboticized parts. She could accept an upgrade designed by Dr. Quack and Nate Morgan. Oh god, Dr. Quack and Nate Morgan, okay. But it would ensure that she would never be de-roboticized. So basically, we could fix you from essentially dying of your robotic half fighting your organic half. But the trade-off is you could never be human again. You could never have your full fleshy body again. As you can tell, the coochie roboticized too. So I don't know how that worked. Anyway. She got a metal coochie. With Antoine's love and support, she committed to her cyborg life. That love was later tested when Patch of Mobius posed as Antoine and actively tried to ruin the romance. Bunny was shaken and made a few questionable choices, but rebounded when Sonic managed to rescue Antoine from Mobius. What were those questionable choices? Well, those questionable choices, huh? Bunny got around. But Bunny had a thing where she may or may not have slept with an alternate universe version of Sonic. I hope we're having fun. When Bunny's cybernetics were accidentally crystallized by Ixisnogus' magic, he attempted to undo the damage, miraculously reverting her to flesh and blood, which was a complete accident, by the way. He did not plan that. I remember that specifically. And blood. Okay, shortly after, however, Antoine was nearly killed while on a mission, blaming her own powerlessness. Bunny has left to parts unknown to make things right. This is pretty old, by the way. This encyclopedia came out in... I have the physical book. Let me look it up. I have the physical book. I can see where it was printed. This was made in... Oh my god, this was made in 2012. Shit. This is over 10 years old. Yeah. A lot of things are notably left out. But yes, Nicole. The AI I told you about. So. I don't want to read every single thing, but there's just so much to unpack here. Once we get through the main characters, we'll touch on the bigger points. Cause this shit gets wild. This shit gets fucking wild. But yeah. We're not even at the chaotics yet. But here we go. Here we go. Nicole. The first appearance was in Sonic In Your Face, Issue 1. Sonic In Your Face was a miniseries which was essentially just a spin-off until she was incorporated into the main series. So, abilities: genius. Nicole possesses information and processes knowledge far beyond the average Mobian. Nanites. Nicole has direct control over the countless nanites that make up the city, allowing her to construct almost anything. So she's basically a very advanced AI and was able to build the entire city that Sonic lives in after Eggman just totally decimated it. She rebuilt the entire thing based off of nanite technology. So she has nanites and the entire city is made of it. Which you kind of wonder if that's safe, we'll get into that. Nicole is an artificial intelligence who comes from an alternate future about 25 years from now. An alternate future. I don't even remember that. In this timeline, she was a valued mentor to Sally Acorn, but was destroyed during the final fight with Dr. Robotnik. After years of work, Rotor Walrus managed to rebuild her. Now Queen Sally sent Nicole back in time to provide the guidance her younger self would need after the loss of her mentor, Julia. So this is just some straight up time travel stuff where we're just throwing shit back. She's from an alternate timeline. I was dead wrong about that. I forgot about that. I apologize. Originally, originally just a handheld computer. Nicole was often cold and literal in her ways. Sonic the Hedgehog's consistent peaks and technology, artificial intelligence. She eventually grew to become more than Sally's confidant and became a dear friend. During the Second Robotic War, she tried to unlock her inner secrets. Consensus with Sally's. Although the swap was brief, the taste of real. Okay. This part is pretty interesting. So during the Second Robotnik War, Rotor tried to unlock Nicole's inner secrets which accidentally swapped her consciousness with Sally's. How did that happen? Comics. Because comics. Although the swap was brief, the taste of real life had a lasting impact on Nicole. She experimented with her own output and with her own power output and managed to create an artificial body for a brief time. What you see. Unfortunately, her handheld design could not support this form for long. A blessing in disguise came when Dr. Eggman's nanites, controlled by Anonymous. Yeah, Anonymous. After Anonymous' plot failed, Nicole took control of the empty nanite city he had created and reshaped it into the lost city of Mobotropolis. Not only did she return her friends' long-lost homes, but the city housed enough hologram and energy projectors to allow her to live as a Mobian. The only drawback was that the immense power demand requires her to vanish if the city needs protection for her undivided attention. So she pretty much has to do everything in her power in order to be like a human, to have like a body. I remember this happening countless times in the comics. Countless times. So during the Iron Dominions, okay, now we're getting into that meat and potato I was talking about. During the Iron Dominions invasion, Nicole was controlled by the Iron Queen and forced to capture citizens, sending them off to be legionized. Sally broke through to Iron Nicole, but not before the citizens were traumatized. Feared for her power, Nicole was exiled from the city she helped to build. Alright, so I gotta talk about this now. Oh boy. This was an entire saga in the comics where essentially Eggman lost to Sonic in the final confrontation in, I believe, Sonic the Hedgehog issue 223. In this issue, Sonic beat Eggman the final time, but he didn't beat Eggman, he mentally broke him. Eggman legitimately went insane to the point where he was going like, like foaming at the mouth, had to be in a loony bin, was in the white room, the stereotypical mental illness center. He went insane. So you're probably wondering, well, who took over in his place? Snively. Who is Snively? His nephew. Snively is his nephew. Who, I shit you not, went online, talked to essentially a goth GF, had an online relationship with her until he realized that he that she was in a relationship with a bull, the Demon Bull King, because this is supposed to be an adaptation of Journey to the West. I shit you not. The Iron Queen is based off of the Demon Bull Queen. And Snively, the entire time, is Loki trying to simp for her while trying to avoid the Demon Bull King. And during this time, the Iron Queen, is pretty much stringing Snively along because she just wants access to Eggman's entire fleet and she just wants to control shit, honestly. For some reason, she has control over robotics and anything technology-based. So she controls Nicole, and through that, she gives her this sick-ass design based off of like East Asian culture. You know, she looks so cool in this outfit. But she basically just controls the entire city. And what is legionization? Basically, it is not roboticization in terms of your body becoming robotic, but legionization is they essentially put robotic chips into your brain and they will control you through that. That's legionization. It's pretty much like making you into a cyborg without actually making you into a cyborg, if I'm making sense. But yeah, this was an entire thing where the whole city could not trust her, coupled with the fact that there was a essentially pop star singer, freedom fighter, quote unquote, named Mina Mongoose, who sang a song about how she's everywhere. Nicole is everywhere. Big Brother is always watching you. Nicole is evil. Nicole is a self AI that will want to control you and capture you, which brought the entire city and influenced them even more against Nicole, which, you know, made her afraid of everything. Thank you for the hydrate. I'm talking a lot. There's a lot to unpack with this. Thank you for the stretch and the posture check. Levy! Thank you so much for the raid. What do you... Wow, 2 raids in a row. Jesus. Welcome in. Welcome in. Ah. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming. What am I doing? I'm talking all about the Sonic Archie comics with the Sonic Comic Encyclopedia. Oh, you were also doing karaoke. Oh, karaoke art. Nice. Yes, I'm going over the entire Sonic Comic Encyclopedia and talking about Sonic's weird past. Why am I just now following you? I don't know. Welcome in, Escape. I hope you all had a good stream. I hope the karaoke was good. What songs were you singing? Was everything okay? And also, Raiders, if you're coming in, my name is King Kodiak. I am a voice actor and VTuber who is currently stuck in Anya Forger's body. For the time being. Not for long, though. We'll see what happens. And right now, we're going over the entire Sonic Comic Encyclopedia, which is considered lost media, because you can't buy it anymore. You are a unique individual. Thank you. I'm so glad. I'd rather be unique than normal. It was Leaf sung why I should worry from the movie Oliver and Company. Oh, so you sung Why Should I Worry from Oliver and Company. I remember that movie. That was actually a pretty good film. It's not like a groundbreaking Disney film, but it's feel good. Why Should I Worry is very good. I enjoy that song. I sang a lot of oldies. Oh, nice. Cool. I might have to check out the VOD for that and see how it goes. But yeah. If you're coming from the raid and you're just here to say hi and pop out, I completely understand. We're going into the deep dark world of the Sonic Archie comics, so yeah. Because I'm old, hey, don't worry, I'm old too. We're both ancient. You know, we're both prehistoric hieroglyphs. Also, I won't be saving the VOD. Oh, it's okay. Alright, understandable. Understandable. Well, I'll be sure to catch the next karaoke stream if I'm able to. She didn't keep the VOD, understandable. But yeah, back to this. We were just talking about how Eggman's nephew put him in the loony bin. He met a goth GF over the internet who's actually married to the Demon Bull King and who can control technology, who then controlled Nicole, this character right here, into basically eating people and assimilating them into half robot, half animal people. Sonic is fun. Yeah. Leaf also sung Peaches by Bowser and I missed it. I wish I could have seen that. I'm pretty sure you did a lovely rendition of Peaches. But yes. Nicole was exiled from the city she helped to build. Now we're moving on to the Chaotix. Knuckles Chaotix. This is gonna be interesting. I didn't live up to Jack Black's legend, but I had fun. Hey, that's all that matters. Hey, Jack Black is a national treasure. I don't think anyone can match that man's energy. But yes, the Chaotix are a team of friends who protect Angel Island, the Master Emerald, from evil. We all know that. The team first came together unofficially to rescue the Freedom Fighters from one of Dr. Robotnik's traps in the Happy Land amusement park. None of them wanted to commit to a team initially, especially Knuckles. But time and necessity eventually had them unite under the common banner of the Chaotix. Some members have come and gone, while others have only been members temporarily. Remington and Archimedes have worked closely with the team without actually joining. I don't remember Remington, and I don't remember Archimedes. Okay, so this is them fighting Metal Sonic in the first anniversary. Heavy and Bomb. I do remember Heavy and Bomb, though. Heavy and Bomb were a powerful duo of rogue badniks who used their advanced artificial intelligence to rebel against their master. However, they were later captured, reprogrammed, and attempted to kill the Acorn royal family, forcing the Freedom Fighters to destroy them. Dr. Robotnik later rebuilt and sent them after Mina Mongoose. If you were wondering, yeah, like we talked about this before, Sonic has an equivalent to Miley Cyrus in this universe, who is a pop singer. Yeah, she's a famous singer in this universe. Forcing Sonic to smash them once again, they were rebuilt a third time by Rotor and Tails to join the Freedom Fighters. So these are all of the Freedom Fighters. We have Knuckles the Echidna, we have Vector the Crocodile, we have Espio, we have Charmy. Oh, Charmy. Oh, Charmy. Charmy's gonna be a fun one to talk about. We have Charmy's girlfriend, who I don't remember the name of. We have Mighty and Ray, of course. We have Julie Sue, Knuckles' girlfriend slash very, 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 very distant cousin. Don't worry about that. And also Heavy and Bomb. Okay, so Knuckles is considered the team's leader, but when he is preoccupied with his duties as Guardian, leadership falls to Vector. Only exposure to Sonic was the cartoons voiced by Julia White, Sonic X, Sonic XD, video game, the video game Sonics and the Seven Rings, as well as Sonic Boom, but I do have a DA friend, I'm guessing that's DeviantArt, who's a huge Sonic fan. Yeah, honestly, if you know about the old like Sonic cartoon shows, the comics were pretty much built off of that base idea and continue to be built on that. So as long as you know the games, as long as you know some of the TV shows, you pretty much are familiarized with most of what happens in these comics. Until they add original characters and they start getting weird. Yeah. I'm a huge Sonic fan. Honestly, when I was younger, I was more into the comics than the games. The comic books actually got me into the games, surprisingly enough. The only Sonic game I really played when I was younger was Sonic the Hedgehog 2, and maybe a Sega Genesis collection with Sonic games on it. It was only until I got the Sonic comics and started reading them weekly, like not weekly, monthly, that I started to really become a Sonic fan, for better or worse. But yes, Knuckles is the leader, but when that doesn't work out, it falls to Vector. Julie Sue uses her training with the Dark Legion, who is essentially like Knuckles' estranged family, the Dark Legion. The Dark Legion is basically like a terrorist group. It's a terrorist group made by other Echidna who are related to Knuckles. Yeah. And also related to Julie Sue. Like I said before, they're all kind of related. To provide the team with an experienced soldier, SBO provides covert reconnaissance, while Mighty uses his considerable strength to fill in Knuckles and Vector Charmy despite his recent injuries. And Saffron, that's her name. Her name's Saffron. Charmy's girlfriend is Saffron. Provided aerial support, Ray is a junior member of the team, often working with Charmy and Saffron, while training to be a full Chaotix member. While originally thrown together by circumstances, the Chaotix have developed into a tight team of close friends. While their team's focus varies from sentries to a strike team to detectives, they have the variety of skills to back it up. While they will gladly lend their power to fighting the Eggman Empire, their primary duties are to Knuckles, the Master Emerald, and Angel Island. Oh, this is gonna be an annoying one. Oh god. Oh god, we have to talk about Knuckles. Oh god. Oh no. Oh, I'm so sorry for everyone here who is listening to this. This is gonna be a long one. This is gonna be so... Knuckles. Yeah. Here we go. Knuckles the Echidna. First appearance was in Sonic the Hedgehog issue number 13. Abilities. Super strength. Knuckles is far more powerful than your average Mobian. Gliding/flight. Knuckles can fan out his dreadlocks and glide. By channeling chaos energy, he can actively fly. Spiked Fist. A physical mutation that grants extra power to his punches and allows him to climb or dig through many surfaces. Chaos powers. Knuckles, through training and genetics, can command powerful chaos energies to fly, heal wounds, or give himself a physical boost. Knuckles benefits from channeling power from the Master Emerald. Here we go. Knuckles is a gruff, brash, heroic echidna. He is the guardian of Angel Island and the leader of the Chaotix. Knuckles' father, Locke, had a vision of his son facing a horrible threat in the future. He then, I shit you not, tempered with his own DNA and later irradiated Knuckles' unhatched egg with Chaos Emerald energy. The result was a child with barbs in his fists, in his knuckles, and incredible powers. While all Guardians know how to tap into Chaos forces, Knuckles was this power. Knuckles was this power. A living Chaos Emerald. Remember when I said the Sonic comics get weird? Yeah. And how they explain things that don't need to be explained? Yeah. Knuckles was raised in Guardian tradition by his father in the wilds of Angel Island. and then left to fend for himself while still young. Knuckles learned self-reliance while his forefather's mentor monitors his progress, sometimes lending him a hidden hand despite the Brotherhood's neutrality. Knuckles joined in the First Robotnik War. The mysteries around his life began to unravel when the effects of the ultimate and the ultimate annihilator. Yeah, the ultimate annihilator. Do you want to know what the ultimate annihilator is? Okay, so the ultimate annihilator is essentially if you have someone's DNA, you can destroy them. You can kill them no matter where they are in the world. All right? So it locks onto your specific genetic code, your DNA, and it just Thanos you out of existence. You don't need the Infinity Stones to kill someone. You can just put their DNA in a machine, bam, you're dead. That's what the Ultimate Annihilator was. It was Dr. Eggman's final weapon to just destroy everyone. So Knuckles gave birth to himself. No. Knuckles did not give birth to himself. Locke, who is Knuckles' father, experimented on his own DNA and then radiated his son's egg with chaos energy. So Knuckles has a mother. He has a mother. But when his egg was finally like birthed, he was given chaos energy and became essentially a mutant. Fun fact, Knuckles did not come out of the egg red, he came out of the egg green because of the energy of the Chaos Emerald. And of course I get an ad while you talk about Knuckles. Oh, I am so sorry. Hopefully you come back from the ad and I can explain this again, because I probably will have to explain this. Because we're still on this chapter. The ad passed? Okay. Like I said before, Knuckles has a mother. It's his egg that got radiated on with chaos energy because his father experimented with his own DNA so that when he had a son, he would be able to have some kind of living chaos emerald powers. Or shit. That's basically it. Alright, moving on. Knuckles' powers soon grew beyond control. He began to glow green. Like I said before, he did not come out of the egg red, he came out of the egg green. Only thing I know about Knuckles is that he was voiced by Yami Yugi and Roy Mustang. Yes, he was voiced by Dan Green. He was voiced by the legendary Dan Green. Back when 4Kids used the same voice actors for literally everything they did. Which I actually enjoyed Knuckles' performance. I enjoyed Dan Green as Knuckles. Was it fitting? No, but it's nostalgic. It's my era of Sonic. He was voiced by Roy Wait. He was voiced by Roy Mustang too? I had no idea. That's crazy. But yeah, he began to glow green and gained godlike abilities, but had little to no control. The transformation accumulated when Knuckles was forced to fight Mammoth Mogul. What is Mammoth Mogul? Mammoth Mogul is essentially a 1,000-year-old deity who is an elephant, who is incredibly intelligent and knows dark magic. That's Mammoth Mogul. In Sonic Boom, Travis Willingham voiced him. Yeah, I know about that one. I know about Travis Willingham. I know about the newer generation of Sonic actors who voice the characters. Honestly, Travis Willingham does a great performance as Knuckles. So I'm very happy with his performance. I believe Sonic is Union, so I believe Travis Willingham works under the ACTRA umbrella. So yeah, if you work for Sega and voice any of the Sonic characters, they're Union. Just so you know. Mammoth Mogul, in an effort to rescue Knuckles' distant ancestor, an old foe, Dimitri, who, yes, is Knuckles' ancestor, but he's a floating head. He's legitimately a floating head who just talks and does nothing but do political speak. Knuckles released all of his power to stop Mogul and died in the process? I forgot he died. I forgot Knuckles died. Knuckles joined the Chaos Force. Knuckles joined the Chaos Force to a degree even the ancient walkers had not reached. However, with his cosmic awareness, he sensed the Zorda invasion of Mobius. Using his unlimited power, Knuckles returned to life, but sacrificed his living Chaos Emerald quality for a time. Knuckles was weak and powerless. Only by enduring the energies of the Master Emerald was he able to reawaken his connection with the Chaos Force and regain his unique skills. So think of the Chaos Force kind of like the Speed Force from The Flash. That's the best example I got because the Flash movie's coming out. That's its own can of worms. But yeah, essentially you become a god since you have the most powerful thing on the universe coursing through your veins. Knuckles is Barry Allen. There, I summarized everything for you. And he's got daddy issues and mommy issues. There you go. This connection was later abused by Dr. Finitivus. Dr. Finitivus, who used dark magic to transform Knuckles into Enter Jack. As Enter Jack, Knuckles made sweeping changes to Angel Island and the world. He was restored, but at the cost of Locke's life. Okay, I gotta explain Enter Jack. What is Enter Jack? Enter Jack is essentially like a deity among the Echidna people. But it's a thing where like it's not like a person specifically, but more of different people who gain the title. It's kind of like Yami Yugi in a sense, where like it's a deity who needs another person's like body in order to exist. There can be multiple Enter Jacks throughout history, but they are not the same person. However, they are the same spirit, if I'm remembering this correctly. Dr. Finitivus is an asshole. He's an asshole whose entire thing was gaining the Master Emerald's power. So he decided, So like Ishtar and FGO using Rin Tosca's body. Exactly, yes. That is exactly the reason. That is the best way I can describe it. Thank you, Escape. That is perfect. Enter Jack is basically a heroic spirit. And he needs a vessel in order to exist. Dr. Finitivus is an asshole and said, fine, if I can't control chaos energy, I'm going to control this god, Enter Jack, and I'm going to make him do my bidding so I have chaos energy secondhand. I don't need chaos energy, I have the guy who controls it under my thumb. And in order to break the curse and free Knuckles from the spirit of Enter Jack, Locke, his dad, had to sacrifice his own life by giving it to the Master Emerald in order to sever the connection and stop him from being a heroic spirit. Yeah, that's how that works. So let's see. After everything that happened to him and his people, Knuckles is somewhat withdrawn from almost everyone except the Chaotix and his partner / girlfriend / distant cousin, Julie Sue. He still remains devoted to his duties as guardian. Speaking of Julie Sue. And I thought Fate had crazy lore. You have not seen. We're not even at the craziest shit yet. We're not even at the crazy shit. You do not know how weird the Archie comics got. Wild. We haven't even gotten into the Panda God that controls Chaos Emeralds and creates them. And that loves puzzles. I've said this before. Alright. Julie Sue. Julie Sue, okay. Her first appearance was in Knuckles the Echidna issue 4, a mini-series. Her abilities are cybernetics, including a versatile tool infused mechanical dreadlock. Yeah, she has a mechanical dreadlock because the thing about her people, the thing about like this faction, the Dark Legion, they do not believe in roboticization like fully, like becoming robots, but they essentially are all on board with the idea of getting rid of like organic parts of your body and replacing them with machinery. So think of it like Cyberpunk 2077, where like, yeah, some people are just like all on board with getting rid of their limbs, their arms, their legs, their eyes, just to become more advanced with technology, but they don't want to fully become robots. They want to have some humanity left. Formal training. Julie Sue is a trained soldier and is incredibly skilled as a fighter and marksman. Julie Sue was born in the Twilight Cage and into turmoil. She was the third child of Grandmaster Luger and his second wife, Marie Sue. This immediately put her at odds with her elder half-sibling Korok and Linda, who are leaders of two factions of Knuckles' Echidna races. She was still very young when her mother died in a tragic accident. Luger, who saw himself as a poor parent and too involved in the running of the Dark Legion, passed her on to the foster care of his chief's advisor Simon and his wife Florin Ka. Shortly after her adoption, Luger vanished, secretly assassinated by his two children in an attempt to keep Julie out of their efforts. They had a member neutralizing chip. Oh wow, I forgot about this. They had a memory neutralizing chip in her brain activated, erasing her memory of her true parents. Despite being raised by Simon and Florin Ka, okay, eventually decided even that much of a connection was too dangerous to his goals and had her memory erased again. Julie Sue rejoined the Dark Legion with no memory of her past and subsequently little initiative to follow the doctrine of the group. When the Dark Legion returned to Angel Island after Grandmaster Korok, Julie Sue took the first opportunity to escape and sought out Knuckles. Driven by the Soul Touch, an instructive device to find one's perfect mate. I didn't know this was a thing. I genuinely didn't know this was a thing. I forgot about this. Oh my god. Okay, so Julie Sue found something called the Soul Touch, which basically finds your soulmate. I wish I knew where that was. Zing. She and Knuckles clashed violently at first, but eventually grew to respect each other. That respect grew into a friendship, which eventually blossomed into romance. Julie Sue would eventually find Simon, who would fill in the gaps in her memory. Sadly, Julie Sue... Hold on a second. Sadly, Julie Sue's time with her foster parents were short-lived. When Dr. Robotnik conquered Angel Island, he captured a vast majority of the echidnas on the island and subsequently subjected them into his egg grapes. If you want to know what the egg grapes are, they're really dangerous actually. He captured everyone in the planet and he put them into a giant pod shaped like grapes, which would kill them from the inside out essentially. He didn't give a shit at that point. Eggman was like, nah, fuck it. I'm not about turning you into robots anymore. I'm gonna just fucking kill you. And that's what the egg grapes were. People legitimately died and never came back. mostly because of a certain problem with the writer at the time, but then we're not going to go on too deeply into that one. But yes, this included Simon and Florenka. They died. Julie Sue is committed to protecting the last handful of her people, but is often frustrated by Knuckles' friendship, while their hard-headedness and hot tempers often lead them to squabble. They're deeply in love. Okay. So, I don't think we need to touch much on Vector. Vector isn't too different from most of the comics. Funny enough, Vector's Australian. Yeah. Vector. Vector is a music-loving crocodile who was born in Down Under. Yeah, he legitimately has... funny enough, there's a part in the comics where SBO calls him out and says, yeah, you're from Australia, and you don't actually talk like you're from the hood. You don't actually talk like you're from the street. And Vector deadass replies, crikey, I mean, how did you know that? Yeah, it's crazy. So Sonic's world has Australia. It has the equivalent of Australia. Down Under is basically Australia without being Australia. So yes, there is a Sonic version of Australia in this world. The more you know. Although the whereabouts of his family aren't known, he was taken in by a group of orphans. The mysterious father with baby koala and others, well, the details are still unknown. It is apparent there are some kind of serious falling out between Vector and his surrogate family. Vector later made his way to Angel Island, eventually becoming Knuckles. Two hotheads. I'm skimming over this one because it's not too wild compared to the other shit. Let's see. Here it is. During this time, Vector attempted to hide his heritage by masking his accent with an overeager attempt at street lingo. This would eventually give way to a more natural way of talking. Like I said before, he pretends like he's from like the hard life, the hard streets, even though he's from Australia. Vector was the first of the Chaotix to meet Julie Sue, who probably kicked his butt. To long-running hostility, both this helped Vector, grudge, smooth things out between them. Vector once was the speediest of the group, his lithe body allowing him to weave around his enemies. He also had a reputation or not being able to take a hit. Tired of being easily beaten, he had Mighty become his personal trainer to help him bulk up. So he may have lost his speed, but now Vector can rival even Knuckles in strength. My man was fast, and then he went to a personal trainer, lost his speed, but gained muscle. So yeah, that's Vector the crocodile. Quite the journey we're going on. Oh, sorry. Okay. Like I said before, we're not going to get through all of this. If the reception is good, we might come back to this. But we're on page 18. There's 191 pages. We're not doing all this. But yes. Espio the Chameleon. Was born in the Shinobi clan. He's just straight up a ninja. Born son of the bride of Constant Vigil. He was raised with the rest of his secret clan in the heart of the Dragon Kingdom. Learned to be a ninja while still young, he received his long-term assistant to monitor the Great Guardian of Angel Island. So his job was basically just to watch Knuckles. Maybe assassinate him. Maybe. Espio moved in the Rainbow Valley. Little chameleons. Tasked with monitoring Locke. Okay. For a long time, Espio watched from the shadows and stayed true to his training. When Dr. Robotnik captured the Freedom Fighters on the island and left Knuckles powerless, Espio took the opportunity to befriend Knuckles as an ally and win his trust. Okay, so Espio didn't expect was to actually become friends with Knuckles and the rest of the Chaotix. Despite his pragmatic and standoffish attitude, he became especially close to friends with Charmy for a time. Knuckles would forget about his duties and act. However, when he was forced to counter size and Espio's past would haunt him. Okay, Espio's past would come back to haunt him when the Iron Queen conquered the 4 ninja clans of the Dragon Kingdom and became the Bride of 4 Houses. So remember when I said that Eggman's nephew had a goth GF who was basically just like Journey to the West, the Demon Bull Queen? That's the Iron Queen. China and like Japan have their own versions in the Sonic universe. The Iron Queen like became the sole royalty in those 4 regions and gained the title Bride of 4 Houses. Espio was honor-bound to serve the villainess and was brought into direct conflict with both the Freedom Fighters and Knuckles. Despite this, he bent the rules and revealed choice information that would both free his clan and Metropolis. Espio returned to the Chaotix, exposing the secrets he had long held. While the truth will take time to rebuild, he found his friends, willing to risk renewing their friendship. Mighty the Armadillo. Okay. You could probably skip the majority of this stuff. So, because Mighty doesn't have that much of an impact into the comics. Most of the time. Don't mind me, I'm just checking to make sure the music is actually working. So, Mighty was born to a pair of... Oh yeah, Mighty was born to a pair of thieves. Well before Dr. Robotnik's conquest. Alright, he, Mammoth Mogul. Oh god. Okay, yeah, I gotta read this because it deals with a character that we're gonna learn more about very soon. Fiona Fox. We'll get to this. Let's read this. While his parents were loving, they were still criminals and were eventually caught. A distrust with Mighty was found by Mammoth Mogul, who granted Mighty incredible strength in return for a favor. In the future, Mighty would not remember this bargain, would not be able to rescue his family, and would end up being exiled for his unnatural strength. Okay, so what is this favor, you may ask? Basically, it's brainwashing. Basically, this giant mammoth put in a mental trigger in his brain. So whenever he wanted to control him, I think all he had to do was snap his fingers, and Mighty would become this killing machine that only could serve Mammoth Mogul. It was some wild shit. It was some wild shit. Alright. Mighty would not remember. His journey. Okay, in his journey for a new home, he would capture Dr. Robotnik's forces along with many others and sent to a power gem mine. There he met Ray, a young Fiona Fox, who we're gonna get into, and a young Sonic the Hedgehog. Sonic led a breakout to the prison camp, but in the fracas, Ray was lost in a strange zone, unable, under uncertain circumstances. Mighty and Sonic parted ways with Mighty until eventually making his way to Angel Island, thanks to young Knuckles the Echidna. Okay, we know this. He was later contracted treasure hunter Knack the Weasel, and embittered Fiona into searching for a rare gem. When they located it, they found Ray holding it. The gem's strange properties had kept Ray from aging. Years had been seconds to him. Mighty rescued the long-lost friend and took him in. Funny enough, they still don't really touch much on Mighty and Ray. Those are the Sonic characters that are just like not shown to have much love. So, yeah, there's that. The two quickly bonded as brothers. While usually having a sunny disposition, Ray deals with a stutter. Although he gains some control over it, it flares up consistently when he is under stress. He finds stability from Mighty's gentle, caring, and supportive nature. Mogul's favor eventually came due, and Mighty was forced to fight Sonic alongside a likewise brainwashed Mina Mongoose and Tails. This was an entire thing in the Sonic comics, where like Mammoth Mogul, this like we haven't seen him yet, but this giant mammoth dude essentially found these like stray puppies, like these stray kids, these orphans, and said, yeah, I'll help you out. I'll give you a little financial support. You scratch my back, I scratch yours. But I'm gonna get you. But one day, as like a weird monkey's paw, you're gonna come back and you're gonna help me. And they forgot about it until he needed them to kill Sonic. And the sleeper agent came out. Mogul eventually got what he wanted, and the Gray Chaos Emerald, and Mighty was released from his control. Later, when Espy revealed that Mighty's long-lost sister was alive somewhere, Mighty decided to go searching for her. Ray, ever loyal to his big brother, elected to travel with him. The two are currently abroad in their search. Alright. So this is Charmy and Saffron. After this we can skip, thankfully, a majority of this shit, because like a lot of it isn't that necessary. Oh, this is very necessary. This is very necessary. Alright. Are you ready for this? Are you ready for Charmy the Bee and Saffron the Bee? Because I don't know if I am. It's gonna be a wild ride. Give me like a minute to compose myself. All right, I had to take a break. I've been reading all this Sonic lore for 2 hours. 2 hours. Oh boy. Oh boy. Hold on. I need to fix my eyes. Ah. Oh, that's not it. Okay. Alright. Alright, I'm back. Okay. Back into hell. Alright. Charmy Bee and Saffron the Bee. Charmy was born... Okay. Charmy was born the crown prince of the Golden Honey Colony. And Saffron was his betrothed. Yes. Charmy B is royalty. He's a prince. And Saffron is his wife-to-be. I shit you not, bro. Sonic Comics. Oh, Sonic. Good old Sonic. Charmy, however, was not ready for the responsibilities of a young adult and fled his homeland. He eventually escaped to Angel Island, telling only Mello, his best friend. His best friend. Two best friends that anyone could have. Of where he was staying. Charmy carried on a carefree life, happily meeting and befriending the Mobians that would eventually become the Chaotix. His persistent, cheery nature even won over the standoffish Espio the Chameleon. For a long time, Charmy was the cheerful, if sometimes annoying, optimist of the group. However, tragedy came when he and Mello became victims of food poisoning. Of a food poisoning plot run by the Mobian underworld, which had secretly taken control of the Happy Land amusement park. Charmy survived the incident, but Mello did not. Oh my god, he fucking died. Legit rip bozo. My man died from food poisoning. Weak. Then again, I think you can actually die from food poisoning. The more you know. Alright. Charmy survived. Charmy survived the incident, but Mello did not. Charmy saw to it that his friend was returned home and decided to resume his place as prince of the fucking hive colony. You can work in the food industry, especially if you have a compromised immune system. Oh, you can't work in the food industry, especially if you have a compromised immune system. Really now? Oh, wow, I didn't know that. Huh. I guess that makes sense, but I've crazy. Because I've heard of some people who do work in like coffee shops and stuff like that, and they are immune compromised. Huh. I guess they simply just don't tell their boss. Maybe that's the thing. I don't know. But I didn't know that. I didn't know you legally couldn't do that. That's weird. But it actually makes a lot of sense when you say it. He and Saffron grew closer and were engaged during his stay at home. The two of them were forced to flee to Knothole. However, when the Eggman Empire invaded and conquered their homeland, Charmy returned to the Chaotix, this time with Saffron, and together they resumed the fight against Dr. Robotnik. This would not be without consequence. They were among the many captured during Knothole's destruction. To illustrate the effects of his egg grapes, Dr. Robotnik randomly selected Charmy as a demonstration. I meant to say you can die from food poisoning if you have a compromised immune system. It's even... Oh! Okay. If you can die from food poisoning, and if you have a compromised immune system, it's even worse. Oh, shit. See, I've been lucky enough never to get food poisoning, but I can imagine the hell that can be. I can definitely see it being fatal if you're not careful with it or treat it on time. But with your immune compromisation, yeah, definitely. Because, like, I have family members who are, like... I don't know if it's immune compromised they are, but, like... I know they can't eat certain foods because it builds up bacteria in their body, so it could be... they could have a sort of immune compromisation with that. But anyway. Sonic the Hedgehog arrived in time to save Charmy's life, but the damage was done. His memories were scrambled, and his mind made childlike. As he recovered, Charmy showed the same cheerful and supportive nature which he was known for, but without the understanding of who he was or where he came from. Charmy remains a member of the Chaotix under the watchful eye of Saffron and Espio. Okay, so I don't know how to put this, but Charmy is mentally challenged because of what happened to Dr. Eggman. Because it says right here, it scrambled his mind and made it childlike and took away his memories. Canonically, Eggman made Charmy mentally challenged. And yeah, that is a thing in the comics. They didn't need to do that. They deadass didn't need to do that. But they did. Charmy is a prince and he has a mental disability. Because of this. Yeah. Yeah. Who wrote that, you're wondering? We're not going to talk about that. We're not going to talk about the person who thought that was a good idea. Alright, Saffron was a humble girl of moderate standing, sweet and sunny. She was as sheltered and naive as it came until Charmy returned home. Actually getting to know the adventure-savvy Charmy opened her eyes to a new world of excitement, and she gladly joined him on his journeys, both before and after the fall of the Golden Hive colony. Now Saffron sees herself as a caretaker of her kingdom's last chance at rebirth, and is dedicated to seeing her love return to normal. Now these comics ended on a cliffhanger, so what do you think happened to Charmy? Do you think he got his memories back and was able to live a happy life with her? No. Their relationship was so weird in the comics, though, because you could tell she genuinely loved him, but he was too, well, far gone. Let's just say that. He was too absent-minded to return the affection, so it really just kind of felt like a little brother big sister relationship. Again, I do not know why they did this to my boy, but they did. The Acorn lineage, that's its own thing. We don't gotta worry about that. There's a lot of shit that happened here. Basically, it just talks about the royal family. It talks about King Theodore. Theodore was Sally Acorn's great-grandfather. Oversaw the continued prosperity of Mobius and gains in the kingdom holding. His eldest son, Prince Edward, was accidentally shot. Oh my god. Why can't the Sonic Comics be normal? Why can't the Archie comics be normal? Theodore oversaw the continued prosperity of Metropolis and gained in the kingdom's holding. His eldest brother, Prince Edward, was accidentally shot by an overlander youth. What are overlanders? I don't remember. We'll probably talk more about them later. Prompting Theodore to close his borders with the overland. His second son came late in his life, and he died after he could properly raise his successor. Raphael was Raphael was forced to take the throne at an early age with his father's passing. After seen as pushed into authority too soon, Raphael would spend most of his time ensuring his son would be prepared for his mantle. And this is the Acorn lineage. There's a lot here. I'm gonna step out for a bit. Hey, thanks so much for being here, Escape. Thank you so much. I appreciate you you stopping by, and thank you so much for the follow. Hope to see you again if you don't come back. You take care. Okay. We're gonna skip this. This is Maximilian and Alicia Acorn. This is basically Sally's father and mother, respectively. Elias Meg and the Alexis Acorn. This is a lot of political nonsense. But, yeah. This is basically a lot of political jargon. I'll read some of it, though. Alright. Where was I? Ah, yes. Sally's, Princess Sally Acorn's, older brother and, sister-in-law and their child. Meg was short, alright. Was raised and born in, lost her first husband to Dr. Eggman's forces. She was done for to endure the drastic changes of her one simple life. She is Elias's anchor to reality, a calm voice amid the madness of their lives, while a bit intimidated by the larger-than-life figures around her. Meg thinks New Metropolis could be the best place to raise her little girl. So not biological daughter, but you know, found family, you know. So the Council of Acorn, basically just a council of people. They basically are. It's diplomacy, yeah. Isn't that great? Good old diplomacy. We don't have to worry about that. These are the council's members. One of them was Sonic's uncle. And yeah. And one of them was even Rotor. Look at him. Look at him. Look at Boomer. Moving on. Oh. Oh my god, look at the muscles on this dude. What the fuck? The fuck? I'm muted. I just realized I'm muted. I'm a good streamer. Basically, Jeffrey St. John's a dick. Alright? He's the field leader and his apprentice. And they control... They were part of the ex-military, alright? It's a team made up of bears, alright? Cool. Moving on. Dr. Kraken family, we don't gotta worry about these guys. The Hedgehog family. Okay, this is gonna be interesting. We get to learn about Sonic's family, everybody. This is what... Oh my god, we gotta learn about Sonic's family now, yay. Hooray, hoorah. Alright. Let's get this started. Hedgehog family. Their first appearance was in Sonic the Hedgehog issue 45. Bernadette Hedgehog, Sonic the Hedgehog. Her first appearance was in Sonic Super Special issue 2. Sir Charles the Hedgehog was in Sonic the Hedgehog issue 0. Jules Hedgehog was once the opposite of his brother, a loudmouth risk-taker who was a bit of a dense side, He was also courageous and caring. It was these qualities that caught the eye of his former classmate and comrade during the Great War, Bernadette Hedgehog. Bernadette! Alright. Jules would accompany the more capable Bernie on reconnaissance and demolition missions, hounding her for a date. She eventually gave in, quickly stumbled into love, and the two wed on the battlefield. Charles, meanwhile, was the quiet and brilliant brother to Jules, a genius in robotics and biotechnology. He also could whip up a mean chili dog, part of Sonic's obsession over chili dogs. Charles was one of Nate Morgan's best students and knighted young for his contributions to the kingdom. Jules succumbs to Overlander attack. We still don't know much about the Overlanders. Alright. Not gonna lie, a little tired. I'm a little tired because, like I said before, I did stay up pretty much all night. But we're not done yet. I'm not stopping. I'm not stopping yet. We got a lot. Very shortly after the birth of Sonic the Hedgehog, Jules was gravely injured. As peace returned to Mobius, Mobotropolis, I gotta remember that name, Charles threw himself into developing a new type of medical technology, the roboticizer. So yeah, fun fact, the roboticizer was not Eggman's invention. He basically just stole the IP. He did what most big business owners do and stole someone else's idea, claimed it as his own, and profited off of it. The roboticizer was technically meant to be a machine that would help someone who was suffering a grave or terminal illness. So let's say you get diagnosed with something like pretty terrible. You got, like, I don't know, a certain amount of time left. The roboticizer's main goal was to make you into a robot so that your body could just be put into a state of remission until science was able to eventually figure out what is wrong with you, how to fix you, and then once there was a cure, or at least a long-term solution, you would de-roboticize, and then you would be living your life normally. Eggman said, fuck that. We're just gonna do that. We're just gonna take this, and we're just gonna make you a robot slave. So yeah, like most great things in technology, if something can be used to benefit someone, something can be used to abuse someone. And that's just how life works. Yes, he made the roboticizer. Jules was the first test subject, and while his life was saved, he was turned into a robot, into the first Robian. Robian. Bernie investigated Julian Kintober's use of Jules, only to be roboticized herself. Julian Kintober is actually Eggman's real name, if you didn't know. With her transformation, dubbed an accident, yes, an accident, Sir Charles, mortified that his invention had ruined his life, has ruined his family, abandoned the project to Julian, and took to raising Sonic and running a chili dog stand. I mean, that's what happens, man. Some days you're creating an evolution in technology and medical science, and the next minute you know, you're selling lemon pepper wings on the street. That's capitalism. After Dr. Robotnik's conquest, Sir Charles moved the stand on the outskirts of old Mobotropolis to provide food to the refugees. As Dr. Robotnik's control of the regime tightened, Charles was arrested by SWAT-bots. Ever seen that photo where it's like no fun allowed? Those are SWAT-bots. That it's a reference to the old Sonic Archie comics. Under pretense and he was roboticized, Sonic made numerous efforts to rescue his beloved uncle, who regained his free will and joined the spy network for a time. However, the intervention of the BEM would return all the Robians to normal, except Jules, whose injuries have endured his deroboticization and proved fatal. Wow, okay, so that's interesting. I knew there was a reason why he was roboticized still. But yeah, see, right here. Ultimately, however, the intervention of the BEM would return all of the Robians to Mobians, except Jules, whose injuries have endured his deroboticization and proved fatal. So quite literally, if he becomes a human, he dies instantly. That's his whole shtick. It's quite literally, if I do this, I die. Like, that's a rough like send off, brother. Yikes. The Hedgehog family is happily united after years apart, and despite Jules' robotic form, they manage a normal life, as normal as life with Sonic can be. I mean, that figures. That makes sense. I mean, hey, being in a robot body ain't that bad. You're still technically you. Easier to maintain and easier to live, you know? You don't gotta worry about dying. Or, like, illness or shit like that. Only problem is the lack of taste buds, but, you know, this is what it is. Clockwise from left to right, you see Sir Charles, Jules, Bernie, and Mutsky. Yes, Sonic has a dog named Mutsky. The Prower family. Oh, this is gonna be a fun one. This is gonna be a fun one. I will be back momentarily, and then we're gonna handle this. I'll be right back. I'm gonna astral project my body real quick. It's gonna be real awkward. See ya. And I'm back. Welcome back, Escape. I had to astral project my soul out of this body for a second. That was the weirdest face I ever made. I had to drink a piece of water. I had to drink a piece of water. I had to drink some water. Okay. Now then, where was I? Oh yes, hell. Alright. The Prower family. Okay. Their first appearance was, okay. Alright, so Supersonic Special 9. Supersonic Special 9. Merlin, Tails' magical uncle, like I said before, this is a real thing. His first appearance was in issue 42. Now then, learning more about Tails' family. Commander Armadeus Prower earned the name Conductor of the Battlefield when he was a general during the Great War. He orchestrated some of the war's most unsuccessful military movements and was largely responsible for keeping Mobotropolis from fully falling to the overland. Okay. Okay. Just before his son's birth, though, his investigation into warlord Julian Kintober's activities led to his roboticization. Rosemary Prower was an activist whose ideals were put on hold when the kingdom needed the support. She and Amadeus enjoyed matching wits and were ready to work to improve Mobotropolis after the war. Upon the birth of Miles Prower, she was devastated when the disguised Robian Armadeus. Okay, so this is like some messed up shit. Okay, so she gave birth, and then Tails' dad came in, and he pulled up to the after party, a fully robot, like, slave to Eggman, tried to kill them both. Mind you, this was directly after she gave birth. She was captured and was almost roboticized herself. Oh, okay. Okay, so, sorry. She was devastated when the disguised Robian Amadeus seemed to reject their son. She was captured and was almost roboticized herself, but she and her husband were rescued by the BEM and spent over a decade on the planet They were on Argentina. Yeah, fuck it. They got sent to space. I'm not joking. They're in space. And that got sent to a planet called Argentina. I'm calling it Argentina. I can't pronounce this or whatever. Rosemary and the restored Amadeus were exposed to many new ideas from the many races of outer space. They went into hiding when the war between the Black Arms from Shadow the Hedgehog, by the way. Yeah, they tied the Black Arms from Shadow the Hedgehog, that one game that only had one, like, exposure to them and they never got touched on again. Yeah. That's in here. And Zorda turned their host world into a war zone and were rescued by Sonic the Hedgehog and their long-lost son Tails. Once home, they learned all about the hardships the next generation had endured, and they led the revolution that brought about the Council of Acorn, of which Rosemary holds a seat. Oh, that's some bullshit too, because that was a whole thing where Sonic. It was pretty much like the Civil War. You guys know Civil War, right? Like Marvel Civil War, Captain America versus like Iron Man. They basically did that in Sonic Comics, but it was Sonic versus Tails. Tails legit became the enemy of the state, and they fought, and they legit. Tails was actually getting some good shots on Sonic, man. He was beating the shit out of him. He straight up was going ham on that on that blue fucker. He was going in. Sonic pulled through some punches too, but like, At the end of the day, he was like, "Nah, I'm not fighting you. You're my brother. You're family. We family, bro. Fast five, that bullshit." And then Tails straight up, halfway into the fight, breaks down and says, "No, you're not my brother because you slept with a girl I liked." I shit you not. He was pissed for maybe a good 2-3 years at Sonic because he fucked some girl he liked. Yeah. He was like, "You knew I was into her. You knew I liked her." Keep in mind, however, that Tails was in love with not the actual girl, but a robot made by Dr. Eggman in the image of that girl. That girl that he was fawning over was a robot that didn't even know it was a robot. The real, like, Fiona Fox, who he had a crush, who was the robot was based off of, didn't know he existed. So the guy was pretty much simping over an AI generated image. I'm just saying, Tails really had no ground to stand on that one. Man chose violence. I'm gonna eat a cracker. Hold on, I'm gonna mute myself. Okay. Now we get to talk about Merlin. Now we get to talk about Merlin. Tails' magical uncle. The magical, mystical uncle, Merlin. Brother of Amadeus, was deep in his studies when he was distracted by the ancient walkers. What are the ancient walkers? I don't remember. Ancient walkers to serve King Maximilian Acorn, posing as a simple magician. Merlin monitored his nephew and did a great deal of uncredited work helping citizens escape old Mobotropolis. During Robotnik's takeover, he also indirectly gave Tails his unique shoes. So yeah, that's a plot point. Merlin gave Tails his iconic shoes. Merlin returned to his studies, increasing his power and understanding of the Chaos Force. The final stages of his training having him traveling Mobius under the guidance of his mentor, the Neo Walker Athair. We don't gotta worry about Rosie and the orphans. Just basically a woman, a caretaker. Mina Mongoose. And look, Cream's mom. And then there's Locke, Knuckles' dad. Alright. Okay. I've teased Mina Mongoose enough. Let's bring it up. Mina Mongoose. The Forget-Me-Nots. This was her band. Their first appearance was in 76 of Sonic the Hedgehog. Ash, her boyfriend, came up in 134. And the Forget-Me-Nots were made in issue 201. I started reading Sonic Comics in issue 174, so I was well out of the loop when it came to Ash. But I never liked him. I always thought he was a douche. Mina Mongoose was just another girl, caught up in the madness of the First and Second Robotnik Wars. She had already lost her father, Arthur, to the Great War, and her Robian mother, Isabella, to Dr. Ivo Eggman Robotnik. He went by Eggman at this time. Alright, she first met Sonic the Hedgehog while trying to rescue her recently captured mother. This was shortly after she had been visited by the magical projection of Mammoth Mogul, who gifted her with Sonic-like speed. So yeah, she got gifted. Okay, now I remember. Mammoth Mogul gave like certain like kids gifts, like supernatural abilities. For Mighty the Armadillo, it was increased strength. For Mina Mongoose, it was really fast speed. For Tails, I believe it was the ability to fly. And I believe there were others. I don't remember who those ones were and what their gifts were. We'll get to that, I guess, maybe. But anyway. Alright, Mina Mongoose. Yeah. Speed, yeah. Mina was almost immediately smitten with Sonic, a fact Mogul foresaw and planned to one day capitalize on. Mina pursued Sonic's attention, even going so far as a misguided attempt to join the Freedom Fighters. While she made an effort and proved to have potential, she locked up in the heat of She locked up in the heat of combat and nearly died. Realizing her mistake, she retired from the team, but joined Sonic on a rescue mission to retrieve Sally Acorn from Knack the Weasel. Funny enough, she got shot because Knack the Weasel pulled out the Glock and actually shot her. I think we're touching on that soon. Now let's see. During this happy music playing about this. During the mission, Mina realized she'd been oblivious to Sonic's feelings for Sally, and she took a bullet to protect the princess. She legit got shot. Keep in mind, this is Sonic the Hedgehog. This girl sacrificed herself and got shot because she realized she couldn't get the blue blur and what was underneath the blue blur. You know what I mean? Once healed from a gunshot, once healed, she was encouraged by Sonic and her rescued mother to pursue her natural gift, a beautiful singing voice. By following her true talents, she excelled, forming her first band, the Knothole Nuts. That is a fucking horrible name. Why would you call yourself the Knothole Nuts? Her music also brought her Ash Mongoose, the biggest douchebag in the fucking comics, bro. He's such an asshole. I remember this guy. He looks like a douchebag too. Look at him. I never liked him. I never liked Ash. Anyway. The Knothole Nuts. Terrible name. Ash Mongoose. Ash was a troubled soul who had not adjusted well to the turmoil of the Robotnik Wars and found comfort in Mina's music. She unlocked a softer side of him, and he soon became both her boyfriend and her band's manager. Yeah, fun fact, never date your manager. There's always a problem with that. When both your incomes kind of rely on each other and you're dating, yeah, not the best. Mina's bargain with Mogul eventually returned to haunt her when she was used as a pawn in his bid to regain a Chaos Emerald. If you're wondering how powerful Chaos Emeralds are in this universe, they're pretty much like having a nuclear weapon in your hands. And especially if you know how to use them. Just saying. Under complete mind control, her life was put in danger course. I don't know how to say that word. Course. There we go. Sonic. With his demands met, Mogul freed Mina of her magical bond, yet she retained her super speed. Shortly after, Mina reformed her band with new members and rechristened them as the Forget-Me-Nots, a much better name. In remembrance of Knothole's destruction, Mina continues to be the lead singer of her band, hoping to inspire people with her music and earn worldwide acclaim. So right there, that's Mina Mongoose. That's her shitty boyfriend Ash. That is Planet Wisp in the background. Oh my god, that's a good song. my favorite song. And then there's Max the monkey, the guitarist. Then there's Sharpay the chicken, the bass guitarist, and then there's Mac the rabbit, the drummer. You can tell how much they really didn't care about these designs because they knew they wouldn't come back that often. Because look at how basic these designs are compared to Mina and Ash. Mina and Ash are designed like they will stand out. Like, they pass the silhouette test. You look at these colors, you look at these designs, and you know this is Mina and this is Ash. None of these bandmates have them. They are so thrown together. No offense to the artist, because I understand you don't have to do it in its extra work to character design all these people, and I'm guessing you also were pressured by the studio. But bro, they stand out like a sore thumb. Especially considered to the IDW designs now, for how Sonic Comics are in IDW. It feels like every character, even the minor ones, are given a much better design. But I get it, you know? You can't design everything perfectly. Now, oh, I almost forgot to mention. So, Mina Mongoose is dating Ash, right? They're dating each other. Okay, cool. Good to know. In the future, in a potential timeline, because the comics did this a lot, where they would have like 30 years later, 20 years later, and they would sometimes like overlap with each other, and they would sometimes be completely separated from each other. Mina and Ash broke up. They are no longer together in the future. She is an accomplished singer. She's living off her royalties. Do you want to know who she's dating in the future? Do you want to know who she's dating in the future? It's not Sonic. It's Tails. Yeah, no shit. In the future, for some reason, Mina and Tails hook up and they have like 2 kids. No shit. They have children in the future. Unfortunately, it's not like a weird abomination between a fox and a mongoose. No, one of the kids literally comes out to be a a mongoose, and another kid comes out to be a fox. So it's not too special, but still very interesting. I actually enjoy their relationship in the future, and I really wish they would have built on that in the comics, but they never did, to my knowledge. They never really committed to it. And of course, you know, shit happened and the comic got dead. I gotta go now. I'm falling asleep today. It was a rough day. Hey, no problem, Escape. Thank you so much for being here and keeping me company while I rant and talk about the Sonic comics and shit like that. Hey, I hope you learned something. But no, don't worry about it. I'm getting kind of tired myself. I'm probably going to give myself like maybe 10 more minutes, and then I'm probably going to end the stream, and if we have enough people, I'll probably do a raid. I learned too much. I take so much pleasure in that. I take so much pleasure in teaching you. But yeah, take care. Take care, dude. Sleep well, and hopefully tomorrow is a much better day for you. All right, what is next? We're gonna end. We gotta end this. Oh my god, there's so much bullshit. There's a lot of bullshit. Oh my god, there's so much bullshit. Thank you. Good night. Take care. Take care. Yeah, this is okay. This is the most normal shit we're gonna get to. We're gonna end this off strong. We're gonna end this off so fucking strong. Oh, I'm excited. We're talking about the bunny rabbit. That's the chaser. We're gonna talk about Locke. And then we're gonna talk about the Brotherhood of the Guardians. This is gonna be horrible. I'm not gonna read any of this bullshit, but I'm gonna tell you a story about a certain writer. It's gonna be fun. Okay. So, simple enough, the rabbit family. Cream the rabbit with her mom Vanilla on their plantation in the South Baron, yada yada yada. They had a chow garden. When our hole was destroyed, they took all the chow and evacuated to like rings. Pretty much normal shit for them. They're not very much impactful into the game, into the comics. Cream is very sweet. Yeah. Amy, she witnessed Amy's heroism, and while getting Muse into the fight isn't proper, Cream is deeply devoted to being helpful and protecting others. To that end, she joined Team Freedom as a junior member and sees Amy as a mentor of sorts, although she's also inclined to try to teach Amy a bit to be more ladylike. Cream is always accompanied by her friend Cheese, a chow in a red bow tie inspired by his young friend Cheese, is to be devoted to be protecting Cream as she is to the rest of her kind. Cheese's brother Chocola is far less adventurous and prefers to stick in the anonymity of the chow garden. Vanilla is a very popular lady who had some misgivings with Cream getting involved in dangerous adventures or serving with them with Team Freedom. She slowly grew accustomed to the ever exciting life of New Mobotropolis. See, very quick and simple. They're not very much characters. This is gonna be the bullshit. Let me eat my cracker. Okay. Alright. Here we go. So, Locke. Knuckles' dad. Big Daddy Locke. Sonic's friendly nemesis. It was his first appearance in Knuckles issue 3. Locke was born to Guardian Saber and Lina and Jenna Lee. I don't know why the females have this naming convention with Lee, Sue, and whatever. It is what it is. In Echidnaopolis, while it still existed in a pocket dimension. A pocket dimension. He was raised in the traditional fashion and only learned the truth of his lineage and Echidnaopolis when he was a young man. Locke was a devoted student of the traditional teachings and Echidna history. His rigid life of training, learning, and guarding was broken only when he met the lovely and tenacious Laura Lee, a woman of high society. Shortly after they were wed, Locke received a dire vision of his son to be in a struggle against a horrible evil. And let's see. Oh, I think I'm running out. I think my music's done. Hold on, let me just fix that. Let me fix that right now. Oh yeah, the music ended. Okay, let me get this. There we go. There we are. Oh, I need to see that. All right, back to hell. All right, a woman in society. Yeah. Evil. Okay, self-devoted. So devoted himself to preparing his future son for his trials, he experimented with his own DNA, and once Laura Lee laid their son's egg, because again, they lay eggs, even though he's seen right here in a birthing room. I don't know how this world works in terms of birth. So devoted to himself to prepare DNA, son's egg, he bathed it in energy directly from a Chaos Emerald. The result was Knuckles the Echidna. This and Locke's insistence on raising Knuckles in Guardian tradition drove him and Laura Lee apart. My man went from looking like this to realizing he had roots in him, and then he just started dressing like this. Okay. Locke raised Knuckles as he had been raised, but as he watched and aided Knuckles in his unique struggles from afar, he began to doubt the secretive ways of the Brotherhood. Eventually, he revealed all to Knuckles once they were reunited. The change in his heart was short-lived when Dr. Ivo Eggman Robotnik invaded Angel Island during the Second Robotnik War. The Brotherhood was apparently wiped out and the Echidnaopolis burned to the ground. Locke fell back on his teachings, took on a rustic tribal outlook in an attempt to protect what was left of his people as his situation grew more dire. And so did he, and he began making choices he would not have been considered years ago. I came to water streamer. Thank you for the wawa. The streamer is getting the good water. Hello, Sierra. Welcome in. We are currently reading the Sonic Archie Comic Encyclopedia and learning about the cursed, crazy journey that is the Sonic Archie Comics. We're almost done, at least for this stream. Maybe we'll do this again. I don't know. It depends on what you guys want. It depends on if you guys like this or not. But yeah, we're gonna finish reading about Knuckles' dad and how he experimented on his son while he was just an egg, and when his tribe was about to be destroyed, he decided to dress in native clothing because he wanted to be more in touch with his roots. And yeah, tribal protect his people. As his situation grew more dire, he began making choices he would not have considered years ago. Locke's work to protect his son backfired when Dr. Finitivus used Knuckles' innate power to awaken Inner Jack, the spirit of vengeance, like I said before. When he learned the nature of the spell placed upon his son, Locke killed himself pretty much, to break the hex upon the Master Emerald. By rescuing his son, he freed him out of the destiny he had pushed upon him. And this is the Brotherhood of Guardians. Now, I'm not touching this. Do you want to know why I'm not touching this? Because this doesn't matter. This is all bullshit that does not matter. Do you know why this doesn't matter? Do you know why there's so much about the Echidnas? It's because of a man who shall not be named. Let's just say there was a certain writer on the Sonic Comics who was very passionate about the Echidnas, to the point where he decided that he wanted the royalties for every original character he created. These characters were heavily tied to the Sonic comics. Heavily tied. Like, have you ever watched one of your favorite TV shows and then they kill off the main character and then the entire show feels wrong because you realize that the entirety of the show and all of the plot points revolved around that one character? This is the Echidnas for Sonic Comics. So basically, the writer at the time, who will not be named, if you know, you know, he basically wanted royalties when he left the company. He was fired, I think, because he was doing some pretty weird shit in the comics, like insinuating sexual assault for Sonic, like real shit. He heavily implied that Sonic may have been either sexually assaulted or his alternate universe clone sexually assaulted people. also a lot of other shit happened in the comics as well that he was responsible for. So Archie said, yeah, we're not doing this. We're going to take you to court. This became a 10 or like 6, it was either 6 or 10 year long lawsuit. This lasted for years. There are videos documenting it. It's crazy how deep and how just petty these two companies were going at each other. Eventually, the lawsuit ended, and it ended in the creator's favor. It ended in the writer gaining all of his properties and like gaining royalties. And Sega got wind of this, and they said, fuck that. We're not giving this guy a cent. This is our money. So you better fix this, Archie, or we're taking your license away. Archie then got scared and then said, we gotta fix this. We gotta get this going because Sonic is our main moneymaker. So basically they had to reboot their entire universe twice or 3 times over just to wipe the slate clean of everything this past writer does. And to this day, the writer still is on Sega's ass trying to get any kind of like long shot connection between his IPs and new characters that they create that have nothing to do with him. It's so batshit insane. It's gone to the point now where you do not mention this guy's name to the cast. You don't mention it to the writers. You don't mention it to Sega. You don't mention it to anyone unless people who are in this circle. Nothing documented. If you mention this guy's name, the writers are like, nah. Like they're scared. They're genuinely scared to bring up this guy's name. I have met Ian Flynn numerous times at conventions to the point where the guy actually like recognizes me when I see him. It's kind of funny and kind of sad, but you know. But yeah, I have been very smart to never bring that up towards him. He's a very chill guy. He's not the writer in question. The writer in question, I don't know what the fuck he's doing, but he's, like I said before, he's still being petty and going after people. But yeah, he created this entire thing, and it don't matter. None of this matters. It's some weird ass horse shit, bro. Yeah, the Knuckle. Okay, so this is when we start to get like distanced from them, but yeah. But yeah, that's it. I could talk about the Chaos Emeralds, Chow to Cal, and all that stuff. But honestly, I think I'm gonna call it here. We've been going for 3 hours. I think I'm gonna call it, so. And this is some pretty good ass music to end it on too, so. We're gonna move on to the next screen. Shower me with those wonderful, wonderful emotes. So that has been the stream. Thank you all for coming. We are done. We journeyed into the abyss of Sonic the Hedgehog. And there's a lot more abyss we can go into, but I'll leave that up to you. I will let you all decide if we come back to this and talk more about the dastardly world of Sonic the Hedgehog. Let me get my music going. Let me get the standard music going. Okay. That was... I didn't think I could last 3 hours. I'm gonna be honest with you. Cause holy crap. Guys, when I tell you I haven't even scratched the surface of Sonic the Hedgehog comics and Archie, there's so much. But again, it's all up to you if you want to know more about it. If I've given you your fill of Sonic, let me know. But if this is something you want to come back to, we can always come back because, like I said before, there's a lot more pages to go, and we're only on page fucking 43. Jesus. But yeah. Thank you all so much for coming. I want to thank every single one of you who made the stream possible. 1 second. So thank you, Escape. I know you're sleeping, but I appreciate the follow and you joining in for the raid. Thank you to both Wizzy Rambles and Lee Fucci for the double raid. You guys are awesome. You didn't have to do that, but I appreciate it. Thank you for sharing your community with mine. If you're still here, thank you. Thanks for staying. I didn't know you were that interested in Sonic. Good to know. Thank you so much, Jojo, for, of course, being another amazing mod. You know, always love seeing you around. Thank you so much, Sierra, for being here very briefly. I know you had to go out. It's late on your end and all that stuff. But yes, we will see if we can raid anyone, as one ought to do. But yes, thank you so much for coming tonight. It's always fantastic seeing you. Let us see. You know what? I'm gonna send the love to Yume Paradox because she has been going hard in this Splatoon Splatfest. She's doing the Zelda Splatfest. She is on Team Wisdom. I am Team Courage. Paradox. Yeah, Yume Paradox. But yes, I will send the raid over to her. I do not know if I will be streaming next week. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. It's always up in the air with me and this kind of stuff. But of course, if I am streaming, I will be sure to send out a message on my Twitter. Follow me there for updates and also general voice acting stuff and things like that. Yes. Goodbye, my friend. Goodbye to you as well. I hope you have a wonderful sleep. I hope you have a wonderful night and day if I don't hear from you. You have a good night as well. So we'll send the raid over her way. So let me just get this all started. Yeah. We're gonna start the raid. Wait, you are unable to raid you, my Paradox, at this time. What? What do you mean I can't raid you? Raid. Oh, she probably has raids turned off. Ah. Oh, boo earns. Boo earns. Well then, if I can't raid her, I'll raid my friend Snozy2. She's playing God of War Ragnarok. Or Ragnarok. I don't know how to pronounce that word. But yeah, if you want to see God of War, my friend Snow is streaming right now. Go send her some love. The raid message will be Sonic Lore. I don't know. It's fucking. I don't know how to spell. Sonic Lore. Sonic Lore dump. There we go. If you want to copy and paste that into her chat, yeah, go ahead. You don't have to though. But yeah. Yeah, we're gonna start the raid now. And yeah, let me just. Yep. We good? All right. So I will see you all in the next stream. I hope you all have a wonderful night. Thank you for keeping me company. Love you guys. See you all in the next stream. Take care. Enjoy your week. Maybe stressful. And Sierra, thank you for the 4 bits before you head out. Thank you. So nice. Anyway, I appreciate that. But yes, of course. Take care. And goodbye. See ya. My final message. You will never escape Sonic the Hedgehog. Goodbye.